Waiting for y'all to come into the room.
What's up, good peoples?
It's
Welcome to
gonna
another
be a
Relationship
good
Thursday.
night. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I know how this is gonna end.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that. I am.
And now I'm
We're
scared.
looking forward to that.
Cause if I get sleepy later, he'll be like, you said at
Trust me, I will.
10 seconds into the live stream, you know how this is gonna end tonight. Welcome,
I'm gonna
welcome,
hold you to that, John,
welcome.
too.
You
What's up,
ain't
y'all?
even in
Welcome.
this stream. Well, can you please move over? Like what? Y'all, we still trying to get acclimated. For those who have been following us for a little minute, we in a brand new place, a brand new space. That's still too loud. And we're trying to get acclimated. So good evening, Raquel Harrison. Hey sis. Let us know where you are watching from. We see you YouTube and we see you Facebook. What happened to Instagram? You,
We
well,
couldn't do Instagram.
you tried?
Yeah.
Did you really try for
We
it?
did, baby. We tried, but
No,
it didn't work.
who's we? I didn't try.
Our daughter and I tried.
Oh, you couldn't figure it out?
No, we couldn't figure it
There's
out.
something wrong with the device.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, so y'all are on. Y'all are coming into the room tonight. We tonight are talking about something that is essential. It is important. It is integral. I'm trying to think of words, y'all. As you come into the room, go ahead and drop where you are watching from. We're talking about sex. We're talking about the most non-negotiable aspect of a relationship. I don't know how we have gotten through. When I look back,
You about to start preaching?
wow, over our relationship, there have been some spaces and some places that we have gotten through. Yvonne, what's up, Yvonne? My sister Yvonne, I see you. There have been some places and spaces that we've gotten through that no explanation has been able to get us through.
Mm-hmm.
There's been no amount of dialogue. It's just been touching.
Yes.
It's just been connecting.
Mm-hmm.
It's been sexually healing
Mm.
to be able to have this aspect that I have in our relationship. That, of course, if you're in a committed relationship, or if you're married, which if you're following us, that's all we talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like then that's what it's all about. You have this relationship with no one else in the world. So tonight we want to give you some sensual. Even the way the wine, y'all look, the wine is going in his glass right now. Hold on, can y'all see it? The wine is, and the way the wine sounds sexy.
Sounds sexy, huh?
It sounds sexy the
We
way
getting that thing ready, y'all.
the way it's
We
hitting his
about to turn
glass.
up. About to
And
give y'all some
we,
good
we want to
stuff.
share some things with you all that we have learned over the years because we've been willing to explore ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and also because we have been willing to sit at the feet of others, other folks who are married and have been married longer, way longer than us, married way longer than us, but then also other experts who have talked about, really the importance of not just making sex an obligation in your relationship, not just something you check off, or not something that perhaps you actually enjoy and you get to when you can get to, but you elevate it. And when you elevate it, you don't even recognize or understand the level of connection that you are infusing into your relationship. And so we have taken that thing seriously, and I want to give thanks tonight, giving all praise
All praise
and honor to my creator. Yeah, I'm for real, because there are certain couples who have a certain kind of chemistry. And that's not always the case, not 100% of the time, but for the most part, my husband and I have good chemistry.
Yes.
There are moments, in spaces in our life where I'm like, what the hell? Because you're just criticizing every other night. Why you touch me like that? You know what I'm saying, right? All this kind of, I'm like, damn, I'm trying, And for the most part, though, we have been really well aligned in terms of our risk, tolerance, and our ability to kind of explore some things and do some things differently. And then there are couples who really are disconnected and they're not able to get on one accord. And we want you to know tonight, if you're watching, that you can get on one accord, that you can do some things differently. I just want to shout out my sis Stephanie. She said, turn up, family. I stay tuned in so I can be ready. Stay ready. You ain't got to get ready, Steph. And then we have the other Stephanie, our sister who's always supporting. Stephanie Maxwell's in the house, and Ferguson, Missouri is representing. And I see the ATL representing, and Amber from Cincinnati, Ohio. Courtney, I'm glad you finally made it. Raquel representing our hometown of Maryland. And then Charlicia from Newport News, and and on and on and on. Philadelphia's in the house. YouTube, we see you as well. And so we just welcome you all tonight. We wanted to focus on this because this is a theme that keeps coming up, and it keeps popping up over and over again. And sometimes when we're like really working with folks and we really start to get into the intricacies of what's happening when people are disconnected and whatever, we're like, damn, they just need to go have some sex. Down, 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 down.
That's true. I mean, that's real talk right there.
They need to have some sex because
Yes,
what is
indeed.
sex? Sex is a bonding agent. It is an intimacy enforcing prescription that enables your intellect to shut down when you open your legs, when you open your heart, when you totally get into the mood, right? And when you're really intentional about it, oh my goodness. You know, I know when we're intentional about it and we have the time.
Yeah.
You know, and we can set the room up, and you know, I'm thinking about it during the week. What we gonna do? Because we have these moments, y'all, where we really focus in on how we are going to set it up right.
Yes, indeed.
It's not as often as I know he'd like it to be, and as often as I like it to be. So I'm gonna be real with you. It ain't like we just pop it every night.
Hold on, you say it's not as often as you would like for it to be?
What I'm saying.
Let's rewind that for a second. Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is that when we focus in on it, right? Because that's one of the things we're going to talk about is being intentional in your sex life, and we're really trying to do something different.
Yeah.
We're trying to do something new, right? Which means I got to go out and buy some things. He got to go out and study some things. You know what I mean? He got to, go do some exercises. You know, I got to stretch, right? We got to do that type of stuff. That's not as frequent as we'd like it to be. But right, you see what I'm saying? Not sex in general. But those moments of exploration where we're going deeper. But those things are so important, and that has been a part of the glue that has kept us together for so long. If I just be really real with y'all, if I just be 100, Dallas, Texas in the house, we see you. And the UK, what's up? We got the UK in the house. All right, that's great. So we're talking tonight again about some sensual tips because we want you all to really focus in on where the disconnect is, and we want you to pick at least one thing this evening that you can do differently or that you can add into your repertoire when it comes to sex. And when you focus on that, things begin to change. Things begin to elevate. Things begin to shift. And we're not telling you what we think. We're telling you what we know. How many people, I want to know from those who've been following us, how many know what is the average number of times married, committed couples have sex in a given, week?
No.
Month?
You can say week.
No, it's a week.
Yeah.
That's what we normally say, a week. What's the average, what do you think it is? How many times does the average couple, based on studies, have, the average healthy couple have sex in a given week? Okay. Somebody said, can y'all recommend a quiet bed? Courtney, let me just park it right there. I understand, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if it's my brother or my sister, but look like a brother.
Princess.
So
Courtney is the guy.
Okay, yes,
I'm
yes.
assuming.
Okay, sure. So that's a look. The quiet bed is important, especially when you got kids, and that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, so we see 2 a week, 3. Yvonne says 2. Janet says 2. Courtney says once. Okay, so it is 1 to 2 times a week. So 2 is about the average, but once to twice. I always say once to twice, and my husband be like, "Yeah, like twice."
Yeah.
I'm like, it is once to twice.
Once to twice.
You don't like the one.
Nah, that's problematic for me.
But it is
really
once to twice a week, right? 1 to 2 times a week. So that's the average couple. So just kind of have that awareness in terms of where you are. There are people who haven't had sex in weeks, months, and years. And so that's a difficult place to be in. But at least, so ladies, once a week. You know what I'm saying? You need to hit it once a week at least, right? Once in 7 days, 4 times a month. And it doesn't mean that you don't skip every now and then, right? You got different things going on. But when you do that, we know that sexual intimacy leads to and is a bigger part of emotional intimacy.
Yeah.
So you are sacrificing something in the process. Let's get started. Let's get started with these tips.
So let's check this out, y'all. So I know you want to jump right into the tips, but I think that you didn't appropriately introduce who we are.
I always forget.
Yeah, you do. So
you handle that.
So again, my name is Ayize Ma'at, and this right here is my wife, Iana Ma'at. We got
and these cups. Look,
yeah,
this is my name.
Yeah.
Look, y'all, Iana M, and then look at my husband's Ayize M, and we're gonna shout out LaShawn. LaShawn Davis bought us these, and they actually come from somebody, and we need to actually shout them out. But aren't these great glasses? Because we like to have wine when we're doing our Thursday night relationship Thursdays,
I'm looking at how much you got and how much I got, and
and wow, 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 wow. Okay, so all right now.
all right.
Tips.
So to get things started, y'all. So we want to ask a couple of
We didn't show
engaging
them.
questions. We did show you too.
Oh, okay.
A couple of questions to get you engaged. So when it comes to the quality of your sex, on a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give the quality of your sex?
So how they gonna? Are they gonna? Y'all gonna really put that out there? You're
Some
booing on
people
the
might.
joint?
Some people might.
Okay.
On a scale
And
of
some
one
of
to
y'all may
ten,
not
what would you
be.
say? Your partner might not even necessarily be on the live stream. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say your sex life is right now? Where would you say yours is?
And we know there's some single folks out there who just taking notes.
Mhm.
You know, taking notes. They dating. All right, we got some numbers coming in.
Where would you
What's
say?
my sex life?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 10. It's a
On
10.
10?
It's a
Okay.
10.
Okay.
It's a 10. I kind of don't want to say it because I think that because you sit back and you
Mhm.
look like I know it's a 10,
Mhm.
and I'm like a hater right now. I'm like, bring it down. But it is. I can't
Okay.
lie.
Somebody said I need some work. 8+. That's what's up. And so when it comes to the whole sex and intimacy piece, let me ask you this question. As it pertains to foreplay, as it pertains to what takes place prior to y'all actually getting busy, where would you say you all are on a scale of 1 to 10? When it comes to the foreplay piece, what would you say, bro?
Wow, 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 wow. So I would say that's about a 7.
A 7?
That's a 7.
A 7? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing that bad then.
No, but it could be better.
It could be better.
Sometimes it fluctuates between a 6 and a 7.
Between a 6 and a 7?
Yeah. How about me? How about
Okay.
you? What's your number?
My number for what?
For our sex life, and then for the foreplay piece.
I would say for our sex life, I would give it a 9.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm over here, like I gave this Bama a 10, he gonna give me a 9. That 9 is still good, but in real life, what do y'all be like? I just said 10. This Bama said a 9. So really, he said a 9. He probably heightened that joint. You really want to say an 8. So what? Okay.
No, I'm gonna give it a solid 9, man.
Okay.
A solid 9.
Why it's not a 10?
So the quality
Yes.
is a 20, but the 9 comes from sometimes the intentionality.
The frequency.
Yeah, and the intentionality behind the act itself.
Oh, well, let me. Can I give a new number?
No, don't try to.
You broke the joint all down. You broke it down. Well, you got layers to this, levels to this.
It's always levels, baby.
All right. So we see your numbers. Okay, so some folks are being really transparent tonight. 0, 5, 0. We know we got some work to do. We're gonna help you, my brother. 9, 8. I see another 0, 7, 8, 8. All right, so we want to give you some tips, and you take these and see what really resonates with you. And take that and implement it in your relationship.
And if you have not shared, y'all, so we not only are we married for 17 years together with 24, 5 children, but we work with other couples as well too. So not only do we walk this walk or talk this talk, but we also walk this walk. So please, 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 please share this video, please share this live stream, because there's probably somebody else out there that can benefit from the information we're giving tonight. But also our services too.
Yeah. Now let me ask this really quickly, and then we're gonna get into it. Did you share the link?
I'm about to.
In the drop. You dropped the link.
A little bit. Yeah, we got something special for y'all that we're gonna share very shortly. That we're gonna drop both on YouTube and on Facebook.
All right. Here's the first tip.
So
Can I start it?
Yeah, please do.
Dry hump. Y'all like what she just say? Dry.
Dry hump.
Hump. DRY, dry, HUMP, hump. So, for the most part, kids following us. Y'all like, y'all think y'all talking to, that's what you did when you was a teenager, when you was, you were younger and just getting started. Maybe not a teenager, a young adult, whatever, right? No, dry humping is important with your clothes on, or at least your underwear on. Again, what you want to build up in your sex life is anticipation. What you want to do is create a new environment. You want to bring some invigorating kind of newness to the sexual connection.
Yeah.
So if you just, I didn't seen your body 1,000 times, you didn't see my body, right? Like we always get in the same position as missionary, whatever, right? And it's the same old. What would it be like, ladies, to see your man? He's in the bed, the end of the night has hit, he's laying there, as usual. And if y'all like most couples, including us, right? You might be a little interested. Maybe you're not. He might be a little interested, but y'all ain't really kind of saying it. You're not really sure how to go about this, right? And my husband always says this. It's so interesting that people want the same thing. They want to
Mm-hmm.
be close. They
They
want to
do.
feel held and loved. And dang, can I get some ecstasy in this joint? Forget just being held. Can I get ecstasy?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we want the same thing, but we just trying to figure out how to
Yeah, man,
message
it's
that
like
to
a
the other
dance.
person,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't want to be rejected, and we don't want to take a risk, right? But what would it be like to come out of your bathroom, or to come over to your partner, and to have your panties on, and to walk up to him and just get on top of him, and just to start to hump him, dry hump him, just get on, just that's all you doing, right? You don't have to maintain eye contact. Sometimes we're so and that's a good thing, to maintain eye contact. I ain't saying that's not good, y'all. What I'm saying is that sometimes that thing can be so intimidating and
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming, that you don't even know how you can even imagine yourself doing that. But I'm telling you, a good dry hump will lead to some things,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not getting right to it. It's not putting you in the same familiar place. Do that. Dry hump. All right. Can I get a few people to just drop the words dry hump? We need y'all to keep track of what we're putting out tonight, so that for those who see this video later, they can look and say, okay, what are we going to take and do? If not tonight, the weekend is coming up, y'all. Tomorrow's Friday.
Yes.
Dry hump.
And, and
Okay.
and so keep this in mind. Let me just add on to the dry hump piece.
Boo.
Um,
Okay, I'm
no, I'm
sorry.
just saying. Now I'm gonna add
Watch how
on
many
because
times you do that.
I want to give some
We
concrete
got a
stuff
lot of
that
tips
people can
here. We
do.
got a lot of
When it
tips.
comes to the dry hump, like it ain't necessarily always got to happen in the bedroom, y'all. So earlier
Mm.
tonight, when my wife was in the kitchen, cooking dinner, what did I do, babe?
You came over and started touching me. That's what you're talking about?
Actually, it was before tonight,
Before what?
before this evening.
Not today?
No, it was today, but earlier in the day, you were in the kitchen at the stove, cooking, and I did what? She might not even be aware.
I mean, when you came over and touched me,
Yeah, but how did I touch you?
you touched me in a special place.
So peep this, y'all. So I touched her in a special place, but prior to touching her,
Oh, you want to talk about that?
no, I wasn't. I pressed up on her.
Oh, you did.
And so it's when it comes to the whole dry hump piece again, it don't have to necessarily happen in the bedroom. So
Uh-huh.
for your woman to
Oh,
feel you, to feel your presence,
yeah.
to feel your energy, to feel you pressing up on her, I mean that right there is an act of sensuality that's stimulating and can enhance the intimacy in the bedroom. And so again, make your woman feel you. Make your woman feel you. Press yourself up against her. Ladies, if y'all like that, let me
Marnell,
see some hearts.
Marnell, I see you. She
Yeah.
said, "Come
If
through,
y'all if
dry
y'all if
hump."
y'all want y'all man to come up on you and just press himself on
I
you,
know I
then
done did this 5,000
mm-hmm.
times. I love
Yeah.
somebody to walk up behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and what am I say?
I'm not gonna sing it, bro. Kiss you.
I didn't say kiss. Hug me.
Ah. On your neck.
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out, y'all. All right,
Well, I'm seeing the hearts. Yeah, I mean, women they want that. So, fellas, if you're on this live stream right now, pay attention.
Excuse me. Send it to him.
You ain't always got to necessarily like go for the gusto, go for the gold, but you can make your woman feel you and feel your presence just by being in her space, in that intimate space. As long as it's safe for you to be there, just making sure that she feels you.
That's
It's
good.
really important, y'all.
I
So
like
another thing.
So we can be verbose. We're gonna move more quickly through these, and
Don't tell me what I'm
I'm
doing.
the main one who has a yeah I know I'm the main one who talks a lot, and then I'll be like saying, can we need to hurry up. So we
Mm-hmm.
do the. All right, go ahead. Number 2.
So one of the manipulatives, y'all. So we big on manipulatives. So one of the manipulatives that you can use is something that is actually attached to your body. It's your hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's your hair. Rub your hair on your man or woman's body. So what do I mean by that? So you can actually like rub your hair on your partner's face, like get real close to them and let them feel it. I mean, I actually got some tingles when you did that right there.
But you know what? When you're making love and and you're up on your partner
Mm-hmm.
and y'all are so intimately engaged,
Mm-hmm.
and your hair is all in their face, and you're
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different kind of experience.
Yeah, and even if you don't have a lot of hair, just the act of you placing your hair on him and letting him feel it or letting her feel it. I mean, it's very sensual, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's a touch on experience that he or she may not be used to on a regular basis. But for them to actually experience that, that heightens the intimacy like I don't know what. So, again, when it comes to that piece, you can rub your hair on the neck,
Mm-hmm.
on the face, on the chest, on the arms, on the torso, on the thighs, on the feet. Let them fit in on the midsection. let them feel you. Let them feel you, and you can use your hair to get that experience.
Mm.
Some of y'all out here buying these little, whisk and flask or whatever you call them, like with the horsetails, but you got hair. Use the hair that's on your head and use that to enhance the intimacy or stimulate your partner in a sensual way.
Yes, yes. All right, so that's number 2, guys. If you're just joining us tonight, we're talking about some sexually satisfying, scintillating tips. Peter Piper, pickle peppers. Woo! Okay, so we're talking about some sex
Please
tips,
share,
and
y'all.
we want you to share this video because it's going to be great as we continue to go down these tips. This one we actually learned at a retreat for professionals, and with some sex therapists who have all kinds of ways to really open you up. And this one is really good. Masturbate your man. I'm gonna unpack that masturbate word for some of y'all who are like, oh Jesus, she said masturbate. Masturbate your man with a banana peel. But first, warm that banana peel up in the microwave.
Mm.
Dup, 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 dup.
We got some bananas downstairs, baby.
What we do? Warm it up in the microwave for about 5 seconds, and you can have some really happy, warm times. Bananas. So when you hear this, some of y'all hear this and like, what the hell, right? But this is about really opening up your mind, right? And opening up your connection and just creating newness. We emphasize that so much in the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
That when things become familiar, it's getting dangerous. And familiarity is a beautiful thing and it's a comforting thing. But you don't want things to become familiar in your sex life. You want that to always be like, oh my God, I can't wait to get home. And oh my goodness, we're going away this weekend. And oh my gosh, for example, when we have our next sex class or our sex retreat that we're working on, that you're like, I can't wait to get there because I want to do something new, right? You do not want familiarity in the bedroom all the time because that's the death of your sex drive. Yeah. So getting a warm banana peel. And it may be a little messy, right? And I know some of y'all like, oh, that sounds nasty. So you're supposed to put the banana peel on his dick? What? Yes, you can do that. It's okay.
Trust me, he won't mind.
You know what I mean? And
he won't.
I don't know. Some brothers. Let me just qualify some things. This dude right here, he don't mind a lot of stuff because he's a Pisces. And I don't know about any of y'all Pisces out there, but them laid back, quiet, calm, collected. They are the nastiest, freakiest people out there. I mean, do y'all know what I'm saying? Anybody know where I'm coming from? And the people who be like, when you give me, when he gets me, I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute, slow down. But that's not them quiet ones. Don't let him get you twisted. So some folks may be uncomfortable, and we'll talk about that in terms of the comfort level for folks. But the banana peel is beautiful, right? Masturbating with a banana peel, it feels so good to them. This is what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've heard. All right, so
that's bananas downstairs.
That's number 2. Yeah. Yes, bananas down. But don't forget to warm it up. All right, y'all. I need to see banana peel. Warm up the banana peel. Just put masturbate him with a banana. Can somebody drop that? Masturbate him with a banana. Okay.
Stephanie said, and Leo's too.
And Leo's too. Go ahead, Stephanie. All right, number 3.
Number 3, y'all. Number 3. Some of y'all don't necessarily like this because you might find yourself in a space where you're actually judging yourself and being critical of yourself during this process or experience. But number 3, y'all, is to watch some porn with your partner. Has anybody tried that and then reenact the scenes that you see in the porn? Some of y'all might be porn averse. I don't know. But again, watch some porn with your partner. You get some very creative ideas. And it can actually unlock some doors as long as you're doing what they're doing safely.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't want to hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard for us to have conversations about sex to feel safe enough and feel like we're not going to be judged by our partner. So sometimes just by seeing those things on the screen right together, you can say, do you like that? What do you think about that? Right? And you all can have that as kind of an intermediary, right? Like to kind of help you all facilitate some conversation. It gives you something to talk about. So I did want to say this about the masturbation piece, and it also applies to the porn piece. There are some people who are like, masturbation, porn, that's all sin. Lord,
yeah,
I'm not of that thinking. I don't agree with that thinking. I think that's rigid thinking. But I think that there's room for more than one way to see things. So if this anything that we're saying tonight, and those things particularly are difficult for you to even digest because your belief system says that that's wrong, then do what you need to do for you. Right? There's enough on this list that we're giving you tonight for you to pick something that really applies to you and to take a risk and try it. But for anybody who's on the fence, let me just say this: there is no other person there is no other person in the world, particularly when it comes to your husband or your wife, the person you are committed to, that will have the experience that you have with them when you are sexually open and exploring with that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's about commitment. It's about building your relationship up, your sex life up, your connection up, your intimacy up, right? Getting stress relief, all these kinds of things you can get from sex. I'm not going to be limited and say, oh, I can't do that. I can't watch that because somehow that's bad. I'm doing it with the one that I love, and I'm doing it in a safe way that honors our relationship and keeps us elevated. So that's that's my that's my take on it.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own take.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here's the thing, y'all.
Let me say this before you get to the next one.
Okay.
Again, make sure you stay to the end because we're going to be dropping a link in a little bit in reference to something that I think will be beneficial for all y'all.
And if you got to get off, come back and get that link.
Yeah, please come back and get the link. Okay.
Oh, that's all you want to say? Yeah. All right. So, particularly for folks as you're getting older, lots of folks that we've worked with, particularly around issues around sex and intimacy, talk about, particularly for women, dryness. Like dryness is an issue for women as women get older. Vaginal dryness and feeling uncomfortable and really being a difficult thing. Like I want him, I want it, and when we try to get like it is not working. There's friction, it hurts, and I ain't never experienced this, right? And so that happens for a lot of women as they're maturing. And so it's a simple, I won't say it's a simple answer because depending on what the issue is and how it's presenting itself, lube is not always the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I encourage lube. I encourage lube of all flavors. I encourage lube of all kinds. Like try it. There's kinds that taste like strawberry and pineapple and peach and grape and all of that, right? Make things wet and slippery in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that only helps to facilitate ease where there may be some friction, but it also, it just, when you just imagine your partner just slippery. But it's something about that, the heat that brings on when you're just moving your bodies on one another, right? And you're coming together, it makes things easier because automatically when that liquid is, and that oil is kind of making this friction less, something happens mentally where you're able to really tune into one another. Lube is one option, but we talked a lot. If you followed us, you've heard us talk about oil, like
grapeseed oil,
olive oil,
grapeseed oil.
I didn't know that I've had sex sometimes with canola oil. Now I'm just going to put this out, and you always think it's funny.
Vegetable oil, Crisco.
I mean, I would find out later on, okay, after the fact, like, wait a minute, what is this? And he done gone downstairs in the kitchen and gotten the canola oil or the olive oil. And so I'm just going to say this. Let's put some boundaries in place, y'all. Oils are good. Olive oil is a great oil because we know that that's a good oil for skin, all of that, right? But your bedroom oil needs to be in your bedroom category, and your kitchen stuff needs to be your kitchen stuff.
Keep that thing
okay,
separate.
Keep it separate. And I've had to straight up hide stuff from him. Like, don't use the stuff I use to cook for our children.
You know
in the
what?
bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And
you don't really
I
care.
apologize.
You don't care.
I apologize.
Just keep it 100. Do you really care?
Nah.
You don't. You don't.
But check this out though. So when it comes to the oil piece, how many of y'all are familiar with like Nuru massages?
What do you say?
Nuru massage.
Nuru.
It's a Japanese massage technique. Have any of y'all had one? A Nuru massage.
If you've had a Nuru massage, let us know. Just type Nuru. You ain't got to say nothing about it. We just want to know. Do you know about that?
And so I'm lifting this up because as my wife, she mentioned the oil piece. I mean, essentially with the Nuru massage, it's like a Japanese massage technique where you're using like odorless and tasteless oils to massage your partner with, but you're actually using your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the beautiful things about, giving your partner a massage using oils is that sometimes y'all think that y'all just got to use your hands. No, you can use your entire body. Like, I love when my wife is just like rolling and rubbing and moving and sliding and grinding and just moving her body on me, and it ain't even necessarily got to be intercourse per se, but more so what it is the engagement, the activity, the intimacy of the bodies rubbing up against each other and the friction in that moment.
The slipperiness.
Yes, the slipperiness that's so stimulating, y'all. So again, you might be thinking that oil is just for penetration. No, oil can also be used to enhance the intimacy, because what's happening is that
Oops.
y'all are rubbing your bodies up against each other.
Mm-hmm.
He's feeling you.
Yes.
I mean, and that's a beautiful thing.
Any of y'all willing to try any of these things tonight? What's standing out for you so far? Go ahead and drop a comment and let us know what is standing out for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to try?
Mm-hmm.
Just get your body slippery and just go and slip and slide. Remember the slip and slide back in the day we was little? You go outside and run it. No, let's not do an analogy there. That's kids. That's what we kids like. That's not working. but yeah, we want to try some new things. Things, okay?
Yeah.
So again, what's standing out for you?
So I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all another one. So is it Gary wants to get slippery, laugh out loud.
All right.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
All right. Oh, hey Natalie and Gary.
So another one, y'all, is to masturbate each other.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about the whole mutual masturbation piece.
Masturbate each other. I hate
but
the
it's
way
different.
that sounds.
But but it's different. So mutual masturbation is when you're masturbating.
Yeah.
And you're doing it on yourself in front of your partner. That
and,
could be a beautiful
that's a beautiful
experience.
thing.
Yes, that will enhance the
Eye contact.
intimacy, the sexual experience too. But when we say masturbate each other,
excuse me,
I'm gonna speak from a man's perspective. Ladies, pay attention. No matter how big or how small your man is, if you get some oil and you masturbate him, do it with two hands instead of one. Do it with two hands instead of one. So there's a subconscious suggestion. So every man wants to feel like he's the king on the block, the big dude, the big boss, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you do it with two hands, there's a subconscious suggestion that I need to be held with two hands, which makes him feel even better.
Wait. I'm sorry.
I can't.
Like you healthy enough that you need to be held with two hands?
I need to be held with two hands.
Shawanda said, "Ooh, that's big."
Yes, I need to be held with two hands. One hand won't cut it. So that's a tip for y'all out there. So hold your man with two hands, whether it's you doing whether it's you masturbating them, providing oral, the imagery, the idea, the concept behind holding them with two gives him a sense of heightened esteem, because he's like, I'm that dude. One ain't good enough.
Down.
And then for fellas, Michael said, yes, sir. Now he said, Gary says, two hands, one mouth. For the fellas, take your time when you massage the clit.
Excuse me. Let me just be clear in this moment of transparency with the community that if there is anyone who needs a little extra special kind of guidance, advisement on the clitoris and the stimulation of the clitoris and how that should be done in a almost expert and professional way, he's here before you now. And I'm just keeping it 100. For real. And I know right now you inside, your collar's popping and all of that. I'm not saying that for you. I'm just saying, I love you, baby. You do a great job, but I'm telling you what I know.
You got me feeling like the pastor right now.
Ew, why you say that? Why would you mess it up with that?
I don't know. He just came to mind. Huh? So
You're talking about that dude that was on the internet.
I know a lot of women was like, where his church at? But I appreciate that, babe.
Yeah, that was kind of that put a nasty taste in my mouth. Oh, that dude. But because he's it was a lot. But his technique supersedes that.
So aside from the
exceeds
experience, again, when it comes to you massaging the hands, the fingertips, the counterclockwise and clockwise rotation of your fingertips around the clitoris. That's a massage in and of itself. Playing with the labia. Taking your time, and I don't want to say kneading it, but just taking your time and massaging the inner walls of the labia.
Did you
I mean,
say kneading?
I mean,
Like it's dough?
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, you know what you're doing.
yeah, it will
Can I ask you a
definitely.
question? Can we take a little commercial break?
What's up, man?
We'll be right back after these messages. How did you like practice when you was little? I mean, not on people. Like, how did you become so
I'm just curious, man.
from the time we're high school sweethearts, y'all. So from the time we were, well, we weren't having sex before marriage, but but psych. But no, seriously, like all women are different. And so some women need you to put heavier pressure on their clitoris in order to reach climax. Like I need you to suck it. Sometimes I'll tell him suck it. Right? There are women who need it to be light. You need a pitter patter on it, pitter patter. There are women who need to be able to be in control and for you just to have a constant kind of right like that. And then the woman is kind of moving her hips so that she's kind of in control of the pressure. And for the most part, they're not women who all kind of fit in a single category. We all have those different points and times where that's what we need. Let me tell you something. You are supreme because whatever I need in any given moment, I mean, you're there. I don't even know what I need until you show up, and I'm like, oh, that's what I need. And so there's a certain level of course, intuitive connection that happens there. But I just I just I just I just want to give you props. And I just want y'all to know that it's okay to talk about this. It's okay to share what you need. It's okay to really refine your skills and to study it. Because one thing I know about my husband, what's that book that you got? The
The Tao of Sexology.
Sexology.
Yes.
Yeah, like my husband has studied this stuff, okay? And so it's okay to do that and to get really focused in that way so that you can better your relationship and better your connection. Okay? Natalie, you just all you're cutting up right now.
Yeah.
So it really is because it makes a difference in terms of the pleasure and the satisfaction that your partner receives. Real talk, seriously, and it also makes a difference in terms of the esteem that your partner receives, who's giving it, and it makes a difference in terms of your connection. So I just want to give you, I'll crack jokes and be like, oh, you got that daggone Tao of Sexology book out again, or you talking another thing about looking at diagrams of the vagina and whatnot. I'm like, you're doing the most. But at the end of the day, when you pay attention to your partner, you may not be going to look at a book, but you look at your boo, and you take the risk with your boo. It always ends up being in a better, more connected, more sexually satisfying and fulfilling place. If you're just joining us tonight, what's my name? Iana Ma'at, and
like
Ayize Ma'at. We're talking about sex. We're talking about some sexually satisfying and scintillating tips that can help you, some things to take you outside of your comfort zone. And we're asking that you just pick one thing. Y'all supposed to be dropping comments around what kinds of the tips that we're giving so that everybody can track them when they come back and watch this. So Val Bethay Thomas said, what kind of oil? So there's look, let me just tell you, we don't honey Marnell, okay, I'm giving you a high five. Yes it is. We don't necessarily we're not proponents of a particular kind of oil. Olive oil is really good.
Olive oil is good. I like
but
grapeseed oil
but
almond
grape
oil,
and almond oil. I mean, these are like natural oils. These ain't like you gotta go to the sex store and like get a special sex oil, right? Like they're those too, but you also can go to the shoppers. You can go to Shoppers Food Warehouse. you can go to Aldi's. You know what I'm saying? And you can find it too.
Yeah.
So those are healthy oils, and we know that those things are important. So don't make it complicated. Don't complicate it in your mind in terms of what do I need. It's really nice when you warm them up and you heat them up. It takes on a whole another piece.
You said something that was really I think really
yes,
important.
Katora coconut oil too. That's right.
You said something really important, so you was giving me my shout out, and I appreciate that. But I think that ultimately, what I do and what I take pride in is paying attention to you. I watch the way your body moves. I watch the way your hips, your energy, your breath.
That made me like blush. Okay, maybe.
I'm paying attention to your response. And so, when I see something based off of your response that I know you like, then I'm gonna give you more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm watching you. So it's not just about me and what I'm trying to do. It's about me trying to figure out this puzzle of what's gonna satisfy you the most
Mm-hmm.
and do more of that.
Mm-hmm. And you're such a model for me in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take pride in it,
Mm-hmm. You got something right here.
but my husband is a model for me in terms of paying attention to me and in terms of looking at and focusing on me. And we always talk about the yin and the yang and how opposites attract and that kind of thing. And so oftentimes I can be a little self-absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know that I need to study my mate. I know that that's important. I have done that over the years, but I haven't done that because it comes natural to me. I've done that because I've learned how to do that. Whereas it comes natural for you. So you've been a real model to me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that more than you know,
Mm-hmm.
because Lord knows it has paid off. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, yes. Paying attention is key, says Anne Moore. Your body speaks if your partner is listening with intent.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And Mia Gamble, I'm going to go ahead and shout out Mia Gamble, who's on tonight, who has vegan friendly. Mia, don't nobody care if they vegan or not, but that's not true. That's not true. There are people who care.
Yeah.
But she has vegan friendly, body safe, intimate luxury parties. Okay. She's dropped her site, and we welcome that. We're all here together learning and partaking together. So, Mia, thank you for putting that out there. Okay. So, finger paint. Finger paint. What do people think about finger paint? Donald, I love that you've also suggested palm oil, even though you said plam, PLAM, but I think you meant palm oil. Or do you really mean plam? It's good. I'm not familiar with that, but thank you for that suggestion. That's why we want all y'all to like keep dropping the comments. We come back and we look at every single one of them
Mm-hmm.
and we pay attention, and
Yeah.
so do other people to be able to enrich our relationships, right? So finger paint, finger paint. What do you think of when you think about finger painting? I think about being a child. I think about my 3-year-old. I think about a certain level of naivete, a certain level of innocence,
Yeah.
and so when we are with the one that we love, the one that we trust, the one that we are most connected to, why not get some finger paint? There
Mm-hmm.
are wonderful finger paints and body paints that are out in the marketplace where you can just do some painting on your partner. It encourages you to touch. It encourages you to do the massaging. It encourages you to get creative and to experience each other in a new way. But here's where I really want you to focus. So if you're going to go and focus in on finger painting on each other's bodies, I want you to finger paint each other's breasts slash chest. That area is really erogenous. It's a
Mm-hmm.
real erotic zone. And we know that for women, a lot of times we think brothers, like we don't need to do that for them, or we know it's a little something there, but we don't think it's as big a deal. But I want you to know that just because their nipples may not be as big as ours,
Mm-hmm.
and just because they don't have full breasts, even though some of y'all do, but for the most part, just because they don't have full breasts, it does not mean that that's not an erotic zone.
Yeah.
And so you can do that for them. You can take this finger paint and really, just use that as a place to do your art,
Mm-hmm.
right? Get in the bed, light a candle, set the atmosphere, and just say, baby, I want this to be a paint night.
Mm.
Paint night. We don't need to go out and get
Paint and
some
sip.
canvas
Yeah.
and paint and sip. We can paint and sip right here,
That's indeed.
right? And I want to use your body,
Mm.
but focus in on the nipples. Let me tell you something. Those nipples, them nipples,
Them-
them nipples is something serious.
Yo.
I know that I don't know why talking about my nipples feels a little bit too much, but mine are quite sensitive. My husband knows that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the
Not
case
everybody know
for
that.
not everybody know it. Yep, 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 yeah. So we know that, for example, there are hormones that are released when you rub the nipples, and it heightens your erotic feeling. Just when I think about it, well, I mean that's a way to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way to me, and to me that's a way to me. That's a way to really open me up. So pay attention to the nipples, and it depends on the person. But Katura has brought up a very good point, and that is the earlobes. Now my
Mm-hmm.
husband, I already know what I got. If I just lick on those earlobes a little bit, his eyes start to cross. He don't even know what's going on, right? And so you have to pay attention. Again, this gets back to my husband's point. That you have to pay attention to what works and what really is a turn on for your boo.
Yeah, but there also has to be an element of openness and receptivity on your partner's part too. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's really critical, y'all, because my wife, she mentioned the nipple piece, and I must say, just earlier today, I was pressing up against my wife, and she said, "Touch me here, hold me and massage me, and rub
I
me."
didn't
And
say
so
all that, boo. I didn't say
you
that.
didn't say it like that, but when I started,
I actually said touch my nipples.
yeah, uh,
I actually did say that. I just
yeah,
realized that.
yeah,
But I didn't say
she
touch
did.
me, hold me, massage me.
Yeah, and so I got a particular technique that sometimes I use when I'm
Do you?
massaging. Yeah, I do. When I'm massaging the nipples, but you know, but again, she leaned into it. So had I not gone over to my wife and stood behind her and put my arms around her, had she not leaned back and put her head on my shoulder and then asked me to touch her nipples,
Oh, Jesus. This is
you
we
know,
about to
I
be
mean,
done in 5 minutes.
yeah, the that that moment, that opportunity for connection wouldn't have existed. So I had to do my part and she had to do her part too. I leaned in and she leaned in too. So y'all got to do that, y'all. Y'all really got to do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay. Um,
Them nipples,
them nipples though.
though.
That's funny. All right, guys, we got about two or three more, and then we're going to be wrapping up tonight. Again, if you're just joining us, we're talking tonight about some sexually, I don't even remember the name of the damn video, satisfying, scintillating tips, right? We want you to understand that sex is a non negotiable in a relationship, and we know that there are spaces and places where couples do not have sex. Ain't like, oh, we just have sex once every couple weeks. Y'all just don't be doing it, period. And so
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that we're sharing tonight might feel like a bit of a stretch. But I want you to recognize that one person has to take the risk. Somebody has to take the initiative to do something different. Why not you? You mad? Why it gotta be me? I've been asking. I've been trying to figure out what's going on. He this, she that. Why not you? You're in a partnership. If you're in a committed relationship, you are married, you're in a partnership. And so it ain't 50-50. It's you do your part and they do theirs. And I can only do what I have the awareness to do. And he can only do what he has the capacity and the awareness to do as well. So take something from this tonight, and take your sex life to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
For real. For real. All right. So the next tip that we have for you and YouTube. Something about our little situation. I know y'all probably commenting out the wazoo. We can't see y'all comments. So I'm sorry. We ain't responding. I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. We're going to get on top of that for next time as we're trying to elevate our technology. Okay, so the next tip.
All right, let me see here. So the next tip when it comes to enhancing and elevating the intimacy in your relationship, is to put the blindfold on, y'all.
Mm,
Put that blindfold
yes.
on. And so we actually just dropped a link on Facebook, where we're sharing some secret thoughts that your boo might be having during sex. Please click the link and get those secret thoughts. If you want to peer into the mind of your partner,
Mm-hmm.
click that link.
They might want you to blindfold them.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, but I can't tell them that because they're gonna think I'm a freak.
Yeah, yeah. So when it comes to the whole blindfold piece, y'all, that's one way to enhance the intimacy. It allows the imagination, the mind to go to places that it might not ordinarily go.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the dark is one thing, but having that blindfold on is something totally different. It's like you taking me somewhere. You're leading me on a journey when we put the blindfold on, and I'm receptive to going there.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, try that with your partner, y'all.
Yes, yes, yes. So we have a question. Can you read that question that just came in? Thank you, sis, for putting it out there. What's our question?
So I'm in a new relationship, and we are still a little awkward sexually, and there are some things I don't like, but I can tell he loves. How do I accommodate this? How do I accommodate this?
Right. He likes, but I can tell he no. There's some
She
things he
don't like.
likes, but she don't like. You don't
Mm-hmm.
like. Okay, Val, I hear you. So look, oh, you want to say something? No.
No, go ahead.
So look, let me just say this. This is really important because everybody has a threshold. Again, the baseline. What is your baseline? Your baseline may be that you are a, you know, I remember a friend telling me like I'm pretty much like a prude in the bedroom. I don't even know if people say that word anymore, but I'm really kind of rigid and closed in the bedroom. I want to be more open. I want to do more things, but that's just not my baseline. That's just not where I come from. But she wanted to be in a different place. And so we all have to recognize where we are. I thought I was pretty risky or, pretty open minded. But when I met this brother and we started to get in a relationship and build some things, I said, dang, like this, what I'm like a newbie compared to him. He's just so nasty, right? So the thing you have to realize is that when your partner loves some things that you're not as much a fan about, it's not about whether or not the thing is okay for the both of you all the time. It's really about being willing to be influenced. And so I have been willing to be influenced. I'm a Leo. I'm very much kind of like the influencer as far
Mm-hmm.
as I'm concerned. But in the bedroom, not so much. I allow myself to be influenced. I allow myself to lean into what my husband has to give to me. And I allow myself to be stretched outside of my comfort zone. But that happens because there's a certain level of trust, there's a certain level of comfort. And I'm also able to tell him, like, now let me just tell y'all this. Can I, do I have permission?
I don't know what you're about to say, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm just going to tell you, like, it was some, I mean, he say it's nasty. So, it was some stuff, like, back in the day where you be trying, like, you be having spit and stuff and be trying to spit. What is that? I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, that's nasty. That's like, does it have mucus in it? That's disgusting. And I know if some of y'all feel me on that, can I get some frowns or something? You know what I'm
Why
saying?
you gotta get,
Let
you
me
might
get,
get some likes.
let me get some
Let
man
me
faces
hear.
on the
So,
spit.
so let me hear.
So you in the bedroom
If
and
you
your partner wants
messy,
to
if
spit
you
in your mouth.
sloppy, if
Somebody
you,
wants to spit in your mouth.
if
No,
no,
you
not.
talked about spitting on me in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's disgusting. Now that was, I'm just saying. So that is a no-no for me. That and he's just kind of like, he thinks it's funny. He's like, ha 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 ha. I'm like, nah. Yeah, thank you for the frowns. Thank you for the frowns. And why y'all faking right now? So you telling me everybody on here is cool with somebody spitting on your mouth while y'all are doing it? I know y'all not.
Hold up.
Thank you. Not only do I see frowns, I see people crying. I'm just like, I'm never going to get with that. I'm never going to get with that.
So let's
Yes.
reframe this. Let's reframe.
No. We're not going to reframe. I'm just saying. So I want to answer my sister's question. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Emma said spit sometimes does work, but not the mouth though. I think you're probably the only person. You're probably the only person who like you want to take. I'm like, no, that's not sexy. I don't like it. Thank you. No spit. No to spitting. Thank y'all for coming.
Ain't nobody gonna say yeah.
Simone gonna say absolutely not.
Nobody gonna say
that's
yeah.
disgusting, isn't it? Marnell, thank you. It's not for me.
Okay, Emma said sloppy.
Sloppy.
So that might be a good thing though.
That's nasty.
No.
He's saying like nobody wants no one's on your side.
Nah, man.
But I'm gonna let you say what should I say. I'm just saying that there are some things that are non-negotiables for you. It is okay. Thank you.
Y'all gotta reframe it. Like, nah, I'm not.
That's okay.
I'm gonna pour me another glass of wine.
But we might wrap this up. I just want you to understand.
I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one.
I know you're not, because there's people on here quiet looking at the joint like.
Yeah. That's me.
I'm kind of, I like that joint. Right? I know it, because we all run the spectrum, right, in terms of our freedom in the bedroom, right? Because have y'all seen some of that stuff where people be doodling on each other and stuff? Have y'all seen some of them things online? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, right? It's a whole other level. So we know people run the spectrum, but what I want to get back to is that you have the right, the authority, and the obligation to tell your partner what is okay and what's not okay. There are some things that is, I have to tell my husband something like, no, I'm not with that. I don't like that. Don't support it, bro. Don't do it again. Okay? Don't do that. If I see some spit coming from your mouth, I'm gonna straight clock you. To let him know one time. Like, don't do it again. Don't do it again. Okay? Right? Thank you, Renee. That's a hell no. Okay? So So be clear that when your partner likes some things that you're not okay with, how do I accommodate that? There's some things that you cannot accommodate and you should not accommodate. Just because you want to come in a relationship, because you're married, doesn't mean you got to accommodate everything. Right? We had the same conversation about anal sex. Somebody said, how do I accommodate that? I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
okay with that, right? There's people who are okay with that, but if you're not, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you got to figure out what those non negotiables are for you. And that's that. But then outside of those parameters, there are places where you're like, oh, that's a little uncomfortable, and I'm not familiar with that. But Val, I'm mad at your message with the doodle. There are some
We got the
places
poop
that you
emojis.
can see yourself going, but you need some patience, you need to process, you need some guidance. And in those places, I would say stretch yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know what ends up on the other side. We're getting close to the end of our live stream
Can I say
tonight.
something
We
about
have a
this stuff?
couple of more minutes. I know you want to say something about it.
Yeah.
But I just still want to remind people that they can share the video and that you can also drop comments. Raquel, you're funny. Tonight we're talking about some tips that will allow you to get closer to your boo and will allow you to do some things different in the bedroom. And if any of this seems ridiculous to you, the more ridiculous it seems, that should be a reflection to you really of your baseline and your tolerance for exploration. This is a part of a healthy sexual relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay for it to be outside of your comfort zone. It's not okay to totally shut down everything and just to be like, I ain't doing that, I ain't doing that, I ain't doing that, I ain't
Yeah.
doing that. Okay, so I'm with Wayne. Wayne said not having it. I'm not having no spit, and I had to get him straight. I'm not having that. Cut that out.
So I want to reframe
But
this
there are
thing.
lots of things that I am having,
Mm-hmm.
and he gives me quite well.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
Why?
before I
Why?
reframe this,
You
piece,
really do want to like go back
I
over
really
this?
do. I
Can
really do. Because
okay.
I think that some of y'all that are saying no, y'all really lying. I think y'all are lying. And but before I say that, so I dropped a link in the comments, y'all. If you want to know some of those secret thoughts that your partner might be having during sex,
I'm done the spit thing.
okay. If you want to know some secret thoughts that your partner is having during sex, click on the link. You'll be able to see that stuff. So again, check out the link after this live stream is over. So let me reframe this really quick.
Well, comments are hilarious.
So all of
Stephanie, we
y'all,
miss you too.
so all of y'all are, or the majority of y'all are talking about how y'all don't get down with the spit thing. But if I reframe the question, how many of y'all like rough, animalistic,
Oh wow.
wild, untamed sex?
Some of y'all like them. Define that. What do you mean? Like what?
How many of y'all like that?
Animalistic, untamed.
Animalistic,
I
like so when you pull off the gloves, when you get beyond those barriers. Okay, Shawana, she lifted her hand. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Thank you, Tracy. I
said.
like that. Thank you, thank you. I knew I wasn't the only one. So again, it's not even so much.
Tracy,
Natalie
hey girl.
Natalie is like, yeah, okay, yeah. So it's not even so much about the
You have to say,
spit.
buddy. Uh-huh.
It's not even so much about the spit, y'all.
It's not about the spit.
Really, what it is about entering into a space where there's no inhibition.
Wow, 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 wow.
Where you actually are allowed to be free and explore your sexuality to the fullest. How many of y'all like that and how many of y'all want that?
Cynthia said, what does it have to do with spit though?
And
So I guess you trying to connect the dots
So
now.
what I'm saying is that like your mind, your energy, your body may take you to places that you may not necessarily be willing to go when you're in your, right frame of mind. And so the spit thing, it's not a premeditated thought.
Right frame.
It's one of those types of things where you're in the mood, in the moment, in the experience, and what happens, happens. What happens, happens.
Anne said, untamed spit.
So I know I got some people that like
And
that.
Mia said,
Animalistic.
rough.
Let's go there.
Mia said, rough, untamed, yes, but not spits. That's bacteria, germs, food bits, and saliva. High five.
Food bits.
Food bits. But Carla said, oh, I do. Right?
Mhm.
So there are people who are understanding you. Look, guys, we want you to know that sex, fulfilling sex, just really, really, really ecstasy-inducing sex is music, boo. I gotta say it out loud.
No,
I try to go like this.
There's one more thing that we need to
Oh,
look at. There's
jeez.
one more thing because I saw a comment that came through.
Well, before are you about to talk, what's another point?
Yeah.
Okay, before you do the point, again, my husband dropped the link, and the link will also be in the video when we're done. We want you to go ahead and get the two, what is it? Lists
Yeah.
of what your man will do. What is it?
You have too many drinks, bro.
Just whatever. What is it?
Yeah.
What your
I'm not gonna even say anything.
You don't know it either.
I do so.
You don't know
but I'm gonna let
it.
you try to figure this thing out. And why do you keep
Oh.
on getting the red mark like lipstick on you?
I don't know. What the other man will do that
No.
What the other man will do.
No.
What the
20 secret thoughts your man is having during sex. And 20 secret thoughts your woman is having during sex.
20 secret thoughts. We want you to get those lists, guys. So we want you to go ahead and click the link and get it. You know what? Don't try to come for me in that joint. You know what I'm saying? I don't be knowing that stuff. So yeah, 20 secret thoughts that your man is having while you're having sex, and vice versa that your woman is having while you're having sex. Go ahead and click the link and get that. But we want you to know that this is really an important conversation. We've done this. It's been fun. It's been all, lovely. We've had some jokes and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, y'all, some of y'all are suffering when it comes to your sex life. You're suffering because you will not put forward your concerns.
Mm-hmm.
You will not share what you need. You will not put it out in a way where you can actually get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And we want you to do that. And we need you to understand that it's not just an obligation. It's not just a checkbox. It is an essential ingredient of any connected relationship. And that most of the arguments that are really getting in the way and taking up so much of your time, but they really ain't about nothing, can be destroyed and minimized and mitigated by sex. But if you don't have that as a resource, sex is a resource. Somebody hashtag that. Hashtag sex is a resource. If you don't have that as a resource in your relationship, in your marriage, then you're missing out on the ability to ride the wave of the conflict and the funkiness. You're missing out on that opportunity. And so we want to help you to engage better. We know that we all come with our own individual inclinations and our own individual crap.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go to the next level if you're willing to take a risk and just, start doing a little something different.
Sex is a resource. It definitely is. So one thing that I want to lift up, because somebody mentioned it over here on YouTube, they was talking about anal play. They was talking about the butt. When it comes to
talking about the
butt. When it comes to the butt, y'all, it's a delicate place. Men, especially when it comes to this whole element of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that's your line.
Yeah. There's resistance. There's homophobic ideology, thought processes that impact whether or not you'll be willing to experience any type of pleasure in that particular area. And so, again, what I'll say is that to each his own. To each his or her own. For women, some women it's off limits. For some women they got an open door policy.
Open door policy?
For some men, it's off limits. For some men, they got an open door policy. Again, to each his own. And so, I'm lifting that up because, again, it was mentioned over here on YouTube, and I don't want the brothers or the sisters that may be interested in their, somebody said no but.
No but.
For those of you who may be interested in that particular area, do your thing. If you're not feeling it, shut that thing down. But I think it is really important that you have conversations around what your interests are, what your likes are, what your desires are, instead of shutting those thoughts and those
Shut up, Yvonne. Guys, sex. It's an integral part of a relationship. You're like, damn, is she a broken record? She keeps saying that. It will solve half of the issues that you have, where you don't even know what you're arguing about. You don't even know what the issue is. All you know is that you irritated, you agitated, and if you would just climax, and if you would just relax, relate, and release, things would be so much better, so much easier, and so much more fulfilling. Remember, when this ends in the next 10 seconds, you need to click on the link that's dropped on the video.
Yeah, YouTube and Facebook.
YouTube and Facebook.
You might have to copy and paste it, y'all.
Go ahead and get that article that talks about what your boo is thinking about when you're having sex. That came from me, and that came from my husband, and it came from a group of women that did that with me.
And a group of dudes.
And a group of dudes that did that with him. And we want you to, read it, pay attention to it. We're going to send you a couple of emails on that, and we'll keep you updated on our sex class and experiences that are coming up soon. I am so fortunate to have you as a partner, to have you in this with me.
And I too.
And you too.
Yes.
Y'all, ain't none of this gonna matter. It ain't gonna, stop looking at me. It ain't gonna make sense. Thank you. It ain't gonna, woo. It ain't gonna do anything for you if you do not stop playing and stop pushing.
Start pushing, man.
What's that?
You said stop pushing.
Stop playing. Start pushing. Start pushing in the bedroom. Peace, y'all. Holla at us. We're gonna be looking at all your comments. Peace, y'all.
All right, YouTube. Peace.
Peace, YouTube.
Hey, thank y'all for the comments, for the love. Y'all been rocking with us for a long
Are you gonna stay on longer with YouTube?
time. Any questions y'all got?
Really?
Really quickly.
We
about to have all.
we
I
off
just wanna know
everything
any
else.
questions.
Well, you saying do any questions, but they're not even on here.
They will. They'll pop up really quickly.
No, they saying bye. Peace, fam. Yes,
All right,
Shavonda,
y'all.
sex is a resource. Gary and Natalie, we love y'all. Natalie said, what? I know. We gone. Bye, y'all.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.